Good morning, everybody. This is Deanna with Food Bank Beautiful, and it is September the 29th, a Sunday, and it is about 10:30 in the morning, and it's reasonably, okay outside. It's in the 50s. It's certainly not warm. I don't see my tomatoes hurrying to ripen up, so we will see. So let me tell you what we're doing this morning. I am going to can some chicken enchilada soup. And the recipe came out of a cookbook by Angie Schneider called Pressure Canning for Beginners and Beyond. And I have now made a number of things out of that cookbook. Some I really loved and some I didn't really care for example, the beef stroganoff and the chicken teriyaki. For me, the flavor just wasn't good. Now, it might be perfect for you guys, so please don't ever feel like you need to follow, 100% what I recommend. Try it yourself. I would suggest making it in a small batch, taking a recipe and cutting it down and making a small batch first. So the soup that I made yesterday, I canned 4 quarts of this, and it was absolutely delicious. And this morning I decided to go ahead and can 4 more quarts. Now, I thought I would last night before I even tasted the soup out of the can, because it was so good when I tasted it right before I put it in the can, that I went ahead and soaked my beans, and they are right there coming to a boil, which is step number 1. While those are coming to a boil, I'm going to kind of get my messy kitchen in order, get my jars cleaned, gather up all of the ingredients, and we are going to make her chicken enchilada soup. And let me tell you, the finished soup, when you go to cook it and you add your 1/4 cup of mesa flour and make a slurry and thicken your soup with that, oh my God, it is so good. So I opened a can and I'm going to eat it for lunch later today with my husband. And then I gave a can and some flour to the guy upstairs so that he can make it. And I've got some family coming in on Wednesday. I'll probably send a jar home with each of them. And then I'll probably have to make it again because it is fantastic. There are 2 other soups that I want to make. One is a chicken pozole. I might be pronouncing that incorrectly. And the other one, I can't remember the name of it, but both recipes are out of this cookbook. Now, I don't own this cookbook. I get it through my virtual library card from the Snohomish County Library, and it's fantastic. So let's get to it. Right now, there's nothing for me to do with you except to get my beans ready, get my counters clean, get my ingredients gathered so we can go like that. Okay? All right. Then I have to clean my house a little bit. I've got a bunch of tomatoes that I need to can, so maybe I'll do that after this is done. And we'll get to it. I'm making progress on my kitchen. It looks, well, this half of it looks good. I've got this cupboard and the cupboard behind me are all reorganized because I redid my pantry in a back bedroom. And I love it. It's like having a grocery store, You need something, you just walk back there, you grab the ingredients you need, you bring it out to your kitchen, and you make whatever it is you're going to make. So we're going to do it, people. All right? We're going to make some chicken enchilada soup, and it's going to be delicious. And on the next one, I believe I'm going to make I'm going to follow the recipe, but I'm not going to add the chicken. I'm going to just make it without chicken. And then I'll add canned hamburger to it when I want to prepare it. So it'll be a beef enchilada version. And I think that'll be perfect. I think I could add the canned hamburger that I have, but it's a lot of processing. I already had to process that hamburger for 90 minutes. And to process it again in a soup for another 90 minutes, I just don't think the texture would be great. So we're not going to do that. No. All right, I'll see you guys later when I'm kind of organized, okay? And you can just admire the fact that I actually put on some clean clothes. If you watched my last episode, I said I was going to change that dirty shirt that had coffee on it. I was still wearing it this morning. I'm sorry, people. Girl is not a beauty queen. All right, I'll be back. Okay, here is step one. I have brought my black beans to a boil. Now that they have come to a boil, I'm going to rinse them off and I'm going to throw it into a big stock pot, and then I'm going to start adding my other ingredients. Okay, my kitchen is still a fright, but my beans have come to a boil. I've strained them and they're sitting right over there. I'm going to go ahead and get this soup ready to be canned. And then I'm going to work on my kitchen in between those steps. And then once it's in the canner, I will do a deep clean on my kitchen and possibly work on those two cupboards over there. I still have all of these cupboards up here to rearrange, and those cupboards. So hopefully we'll get that done. I'm having company on Wednesday. My uncle's coming for another few days, and I want to make sure my house is tidy and that we all have a good time. But the first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to find my measuring spoons. Where do these things go? I swear, there is a deep kitchen conspiracy going on here, and these things, they just don't want to behave themselves for me. I don't see them either. Let me go find them. Behold the errant spices. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is, here's the bowl I'm going to put my spices in, and it's going to call for 1 tablespoon of iodized salt. And I don't mind a little less than a tablespoon, but here that is. So difficult, right? I mean, this is for the advanced canner, all right? An advanced canner only. All right, I'm teasing. This is for everybody. Seriously, a brand new canner could do this recipe with no problem. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, and I'm going to put you right there. So there's 1. And here is 2 right there. And then it's going to call for 1 tablespoon of cumin. And I am going to use my teaspoon so it'll fit in the jar, and I think a tablespoon has, I'm not sure, is it 2 teaspoons per tablespoon or is it 3? I do not know. Let me check. All right, do you love Google? It is 3. It is 3. So we're going to go ahead and add another teaspoon of the cumin to this bowl, and we will be spot on. And let me bring my recipe back up. Now it's going to ask for 6 tablespoons of chili powder. Now when I made this the first time, I was a little worried about that. I was like, what? 6 tablespoons? Come on, guys. This is a little pasty old white girl. How much spice are we going to put in this soup? 6 tablespoons will be so flavorful, but it will not be hot. Okay? All right. Now remember, you can always add to your soup on the day that you make it. You can add a few flakes of red pepper. You can add some more spices. You can do whatever you want. Don't be afraid of the 6 tablespoons. Okay? So let's come back down here. And here we are, and here we are. And I should probably do this not over the bowl in case I make a mess. Okay, so 1, count with me. Come on, be a participant. 2, do your work, people. 3, some of those are scant. 4, 5. We're going to call that 6, and I'm going to put in just a little bit more because I was a little bit light on a couple of them. All right, just going to add a little bit more, just like that. Okay, and that is all of the spices. Now, here's the part I like. We're going to dump everything into my bowl. So before we do that, I want to talk about the ingredients. So this is basically a food bank channel. And on this channel, I generally show you my food bank hauls. Then usually during that week, I cook 1 or 2 things from that item. I cook a lot that week, but you guys only see a couple things that I do. Sometimes I can stuff, sometimes I whip it up, it doesn't matter. But today I want to show you how food bank friendly this soup is. Now it's going to call for 3 cups of broth. And in here, there's my refrigerator. I just want you to admire how clean it is. All right. I have a little more than a cup of chicken stock right here from yesterday. We're going to use that. And then I went to my pantry, and while I did have chicken stock on my shelves, I also had turkey stock. And I'm going to use for this one the turkey stock. Now, it doesn't matter what kind you have, even if you have to use, you know, water and a couple tablespoons of some dry stock, that's okay. That's all right. It's all going to taste beautifully, okay? Maybe you have a little bit of that better than bouillon, which I love. I keep that in my grocery budget, which is very small, my grocery budget, because it can take anything and make it so yummy. But this soup does not need the addition of 1 or 2 teaspoons of that bouillon. So I'm telling you, if you cook anything from me, cook this. This is so good. And it's not my recipe. It's Angie Schneider's recipe. Let's be clear. So let's talk about what came from the food bank. This turkey was a food bank item some time ago, and I cooked the turkey and made the broth. Same thing with the chicken. I saved my chicken bones and all kinds of things, and I make stock, and that's the stock. Now, all of the spices, they are mine. The next thing is shredded and cooked chicken, and I'm going to show you 2 different things because these are frequently available to me at my food bank. Sometimes it's a packet of chicken that looks like this. If you have not tried this, don't be afraid. This is delicious. You could strain it and make chicken salad sandwiches, and you would be so happy. You can put it on top of salad. It would be delicious. But you can also take these packs and make soup, and it is gorgeous. And this is what we're using today. It calls for a pound of chicken. This is, they're 10 ounces. Oh, this one's smaller. Oh, I'm really close then. This is 14.5 ounces, and I'm happy with that. We'll be okay. Nobody's going to miss 1.5 ounces of chicken, and it's not really going to mess with the canning because chicken and beans, they can at the same thing, 90 minutes per quart. The other thing are the dried black beans. They are always available at my food bank. So generally there's a big bean area, and it will always have, not always, but about 95% of the time it'll have all 4 of the beans that I use. Black bean, pinto, kidney, and navy. Sometimes they will have like black-eyed peas, or they'll have garbanzo beans, and then they'll have lentils, whatever kind of lentils that they have. So the beans in this is also food bank. Now, the tomatoes, this recipe calls for fresh tomatoes, and I have some fresh tomatoes on hand, but I want to make those into diced tomatoes. So this is what I did on my soup yesterday, is I just grabbed some cans of the commercial diced tomatoes that I got from the food bank, and I'm going to use those up first, and then I will use my own canned tomatoes. So this was a food bank item, and usually tomato products, sauce, diced tomatoes, whole tomatoes, spaghetti sauce, sometimes enchilada sauce, all of that is reasonably reliable at my food bank. I can usually find, you know, a product like this, and I think we're allowed to take 2, maybe 3 tomato items. I can't remember off the top of my head. So as you can see, most of the ingredients in the soup came from food bank items. The spices are mine, and the corn is mine. And I just use the Walmart super cheap 98 cents a bag corn for this recipe. My food bank will almost always have canned green beans and canned corn. My family will not eat canned corn, so I never bring that home. But if your family eats canned corn, that's another item that can go in this soup. So you guys can make, if you can, 4 quarts of chicken enchilada soup and feed your family 4 times for, you know, mostly food bank stuff. It's exciting, right? Be a good steward. Use what you have, but like what you cook. Make what you like. If you hear noise, you guys, that's my honey bunny off camera, silently going through the house, picking up stuff and putting it away. Even though that I am committed to cleaning the kitchen today, he is still taking out the garbage for me and picking stuff up. So girls, let me tell you something. I think Honey Bunny is as handsome as hell. When I look at him, we've been together, I don't know, 20 years maybe. I think he's the cutest thing I've ever seen. But girls, don't pick your husband out on what he looks like. Pick him up on how he treats you and the things that he does to help you out around the house. And in those categories and many others, my husband, he is a rock star. All right? He is a rock star. Now, that's not to say that he doesn't have flaws, but you know what? He's married to a woman who is loaded with flaws. And yet he survives. Okay, enough of that. Enough Honey Bunny, yum yum, chitty chat, lovey mushy mush stuff. Ooh, I was going to let the S word fly and I caught it for you guys. All right, let's put this soup together, shall we? Let me grab my beans, and then I'm going to turn the camera right down here, and I'm just going to show you how incredibly easy this is. I do need to grab a can opener. I see it. Apparently it did not run off with my tablespoons. Let me grab it. And let's begin. Here are my black beans. So we boiled them for 5 minutes, or actually we just brought them to a boil. Don't look at my kitchen. Don't look at my kitchen. No judging. This is a shame-free kitchen. There's my beans. Okay, so I'm going to leave you right there. Beans are in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my 2 packs of chicken. And I'm just going to cut the thing off the top, and I'm going to just, everything that's in that packet is going to go in this pot. And it smells really good. And this is generally all white meat, which I like white meat. I prefer white meat. Grandma likes the legs and the thighs, so between us all, we get it done. Addie will eat either one without any problem. Okay, here's the other one. And again, this is 1.5 ounces shy of what it calls for, but I'm not going to open another packet or can for 1.5 ounces of chicken. And I don't know if I showed you. I showed you these packets But my food bank will oftentimes have this available too. And this is so yummy. And again, you can just do the same thing with this. These are generally 10 ounces as well. Okay? So use what you have, people. Now, we're going to add the spices because they are right here. Let me knock those big chunks down. We're just going to dump those in. It's not rocket science. There we go. I measured this out yesterday for the soup that I made, and it is like 2 1/4 cups. And I just threw it in. There we go. Not going to worry about that extra quarter. It'll all be fine in the processing. And these cans are close to 2 cups per can. So I'm going to do 4 of them, which is going to give me an extra cup of tomatoes. But this is what I did yesterday, and I got 4 quarts beautifully. So I'm not going to worry about it. Okay? In your kitchen, you can do exactly what you want. Hopefully, you'll be a safe canner. That is up for you to decide. Do your research. I like to use the approved canning recipes, but I'm not opposed to doing a few things like you're seeing me do here. I'm using canned tomatoes instead of fresh. I might be using anywhere between a half to 1 cup extra tomatoes. And I had a 1/4 cup of extra corn. And that's the way that is. Okay, there's that. And the same thing with this broth. Well, I'm just going to add it. This is 2 cups, and I need, how many cups of broth do I need? It says 3. So this is 2. We're going to use that up. And then we're going to add about a cup of this broth. And we are going to, come on, can you guys see me struggling over here? Actually, I hate this can opener for opening these. Let me pause. This is the one I like. This just pops stuff up so easy. Okay, now I just need a cup of this. And I don't have my 1 cup measure handy. I'm not going to hunt for it. I do have a pint jar. I know there are 2 cups per pint, so I'm going to do half up to the fill line. That's probably a cup of broth, and I'm going to pour it in. Okay? You guys do what you need to do. No judging. No judging. We don't judge here. We're all adults. We let adults make their own decisions. Okay, let's take a look at this. I'm going to go grab a wooden spoon. Okay. Okay, that looks perfect. And now I believe we're going to put this. It says, put the beans back in the stock pot, add everything, bring it to a boil, and let it boil for 5 minutes. Now, that'll take a while on my stove. So, on the cooking time, I'm going to go ahead and try to get my dishes in the dishwasher, my counters cleaned off, my jars in my pot getting warm, and we should be good to go. This is what a boil looks like when you're canning soup. You want it to look like that and then start your timer, and that's exactly what I've done here. Okay, I want you to take a look at my dishwasher. Now, my husband unloaded it for me, but I've got it loaded this morning. And in the last 24 hours, I want you to take a look at the jars in my dishwasher. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pint size and 1 half pint. On the bottom, I have 3 quarts. So I just want you guys to know that every single one of these dishes, these jars, are jars that I have emptied and prepared food with. So for me, what I can is what I use, right? I cook out of my canned goods all the time. So I just want that to be something that you guys are aware of. Those of you who watch me all the time definitely know that I do that. Some of you might be new to this channel, and you know, we're in the 150 episodes plus, I think, right now. But in the early days, I used to get comments that said, you know, how come you're using food bank groceries to can with? If you can do that, you don't need to go to the food bank. Yeah. Go and look at episodes 1 through 3 of, if you can't say anything nice at all, don't say it. Because if you leave a comment like that for me, I will address it. I will use your name. I will respectfully call you out if you try to shame me or anybody else on this channel. But that is really not my point today. My point today is that I use the jars that I prepare. There is no point, in my humble and personal opinion. I just heard the timer go off. Let's turn that soup off. I use what I can. I don't can so that I can have pretty jars on my shelves that just sit there for a year and go, hey girl, don't we look pretty? No, we don't can for pretty, although I do have some beautiful things on my shelves. We can for consumption so that I can cook home-cooked meals for my family on a regular basis. And I almost always cook from scratch. Every now and then we will prepare a convenience food. We're not, you know, saintly. There is nothing wrong with convenience foods. I like to prepare convenience foods for myself for the future, but even store-bought convenience foods. Sometimes your plate is so full that you need that, and I am not criticizing you guys, not at all. You do what works for you, all right? It's your kitchen, and you are the boss, all right? You're the boss of your own kitchen. But anyway, I just wanted to take a moment and show you what a dishwasher load looks like at my house. It almost always has 3 or 4 cans of something that I have emptied and prepared, and then I just wash those jars and stick them on my shelves, and I grab them the next time I want to can something. It is a powerful feeling. Okay, let's look down here. My kitchen's looking pretty clean. I think I showed you shots of it, but you know, by Deanna standards, that is all right, people. Let's look down here. Down here, I have washed all of my lids and my bands. They sat in boiling water for a few minutes. I have my apple cider vinegar. I have paper towels, although I don't have any cut up at the moment. I have my funnel. I love this thing. I have a measuring cup. I have my jar grabber, and I have my measurer and stirrer, whatever that's called. Now, I did have my counter got a little bit wet when I put these out of the hot water on here, but that's okay. And then right over here, can I show you? I have my jars simmering. Now, one of you asked me in the comments an episode or 2 back, how come you are still going through all of the processes that you do with your jars when new information has come out and says that you might not need to do all of those steps? And I 100% agree with you, right? Absolutely, you are right. There is new information that has come out that says you don't have to go through all the steps, but that is my comfort level, and I get a certain amount of satisfaction of knowing that my dishes have been through the dishwasher and are now on my shelves. But when it comes time to can, I like to take them off the shelves, give them a nice, hot, soapy scrub down, rinse them, fill them with hot water, stick them in my canner, and let them just sit there while I do my thing. And I think there is even some, you know, newer material on. You don't have to do this for your new lids, but I do it anyway. It's just where my comfort level is, and if I don't follow a certain canning routine, then you know, I don't feel comfortable. I believe the science, yes I do, but I still like to wash my jars. There is something so nice about just, you know, sticking my hand in a wide mouth jar with soap and water and hearing it squeak. To me, it's just, you know, the cherry on top of the sundae, right? You guys decide for yourselves what the literature says, where your comfort level is. It's your kitchen. You do exactly what you need to do. And to the person who wrote me that comment, I absolutely loved that comment. I just wanted to do a shout out, whichever one of you did that comment. Everybody needs to know, or at least know, that they have options. And I love that you shared that with us. All right, I am now going to move that pot over here, and we are going to can 4 quarts of soup. Get that canner going. I'm going to finish this and move on to another project. All right, my neighbor lady who just moved into the property next to us, a lovely lady, just brought her granddaughter over to play with my chickens, but I am in the middle of canning, so they are just gonna play with the chickens on their own, and I am going to finish this project. Her little granddaughter is a doll, 7 or 8 years old, very nice. Now the time has come to can our chicken enchilada soup, because we are rock stars, okay? Right here is my very hot boiling pot of soup. Down here is everything I need to can. And so I'm just going to leave you down here, and we're going to go ahead and get to it. My jars are hot. All right. I need this over here. Okay, so let's just do it. And I kind of like to go from jar to jar to make sure that my heavy ingredients are equally spread among the jars. Can you see this jar right here? Yeah, you can. Okay, it smells so good, you guys. Stick around because I've got a jar open on the counter. I'm going to taste it for you. This is such a lovely soup. I truly hope that you guys will make this soup. Now, if I don't have enough liquid, I'm going to open up my refrigerator and I'm going to pour in some chicken broth. Some of you might feel like that's risky business because my broth is, you know, I just put it in the refrigerator so it's room temperature. But I am not going to worry about it. We're close enough. It's just going to be a couple of tablespoons per jar, I think. And we're okay with that. Or even if we're not okay with it, I'm okay with it. All right, let's do this last little bit right here. Whoops, maybe a little bit too much. There we go. And we have an empty pot. Okay, let me see where we're at. Okay, that one might be a little bit over full, but we can take care of that. Let's start by pulling out this broth that I have left, and it is actually still room temperature, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go through each jar and debubble. I'm going to add enough of this chicken broth. I could add water too, hot tap water, but or boiled water, but I'm just going to do this. All right, so that looks good. Now I can see that that's about a tablespoon light, so I'm just gonna go right there. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okie dokie. Just a little bit there. That one looks just about perfect. This one looks a little skimpy. This one's on a diet. This one's been eating her Skinny Pop popcorn as opposed to homemade caramel corn. We're going to do that this fall, you guys. We're going to take my grandmother's recipe. Not Grandma who lives down the hall, but my father's mother. She was a Midwestern farmer's wife. My God, that woman could cook. Okay, now we're going to check for 1-inch head space. You absolutely always want to do that. That's what your jar needs to maintain and get a nice, safe seal. So we are okay here. Actually, this could use just the tiniest little dribble. Right there. Perfect. This one needs probably 1/8 of an inch. Got it? This one is perfect, and this one is in need of another 1/8 of an inch. Maybe a tiny bit more. And you can see that I just spilled all over that jar, right? Okay, now we're going to do this step, which is equally important. You always want to do this. If you watch canning videos or you are a regular canner, you know this. But if you're brand new, you want the seal on the top of your jars to be absolutely perfect, okay? You want it to be perfect. And I like to take apple cider vinegar and just go around the rims of my jars and make sure that I have gotten anything that is on that jar off. I even like to do the sides, okay? Now that feels good to me. So we are going to put our lid on and a band on. Say it with me, fingertip tight. And we are going to put that in the canner. Just like that. We're going to do another one. Oh, look at that. I try to always use a clean paper towel for each jar, or a piece of a paper towel. That's just me. I just don't want to bring anything from one jar to the next. Okay. That feels good. And spilled a little bit of soup on the top of this jar, so we're going to, on the top of this lid, so we're just going to clean it up a little bit. There we go. And you can probably hear some yard noise. We have a guy upstairs who likes to cut our weeds with his weed whacker in the back of our yard. Here it is, quart number 2. So a quart of soup will do a meal for my husband and Grandma and I. Grandma's not a big eater. I'm not a big eater. Addie is a big eater, and it's still enough for the 3 of us. Okay, I want to make sure that rim is nice, and it is. And we are going to put this on. And it looks like I'm one lid short. So let me take a quick minute to go grab a clean lid. I'll wash it really quick, and then we'll come back and get that 4th jar done. Give me a second, please. Okay, hot soapy water, that's been washed, and I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, this jar is messy. Let's go ahead and take care of it. This one's the messiest, and I also dribble down the side. So we're going to take care of that side first. There's no reason to put that in the canner with a side that's not right. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to go around the edge, and this is this one right here. I feel like there's still some sticky on this one, so we're going to give it another little. Really want to make sure that band area is as tidy as it can be. And then we're going to feel it. That feels really good. Our clean lid. our clean rim. Say it with me, fingertip tight. Fingertip tight. If it's too tight, your air will not seep out appropriately and you will have siphoning. Now, siphoning can happen even if you follow the directions perfectly. That's just the nature of canning. Sometimes it happens and you think, oh my God, I did everything correctly. What happened? That's canning, okay? I haven't had seepage in a long time, but that doesn't mean that I won't. All right, so let's go ahead and get this going. And then the next couple hours, I'm free to do all sorts of things like, you know, laundry, clean my house, work on getting some cupboards straightened, all of that good stuff. Now, follow your manufacturer's directions. But since we're using mine, and mine is a Nesco electric canner, I love mine. If you're in a small family and you know 4 quarts is enough for you to can something, this will do it. Okay, I think it'll take 5 pints will it? I can't remember. I don't like to fight my jars, so I like to use only 4 pints in my canner. And I think one of you asked me that too. How come you don't fill your canner up? You can get, you know, 1 more jar in there. I don't like to fight with the jars. I don't have the patience to be careful, and that's just me. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look over here. Here's my Nesco canner. And for me, these are the directions. My, right here. Here's where it says open, and here's where it says close. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to close our lid. Then, since my hand is up here already, I take my knob and I put it on exhaust. Now, I use this black one because my sea level is under 10,000 feet. So this is the one that is safe for my geographical area. You will always want to check your, I can't think of what you call it, sea level, and make sure that you are canning with the right PSI. Down here, it's super easy. I'm going to go pressure cook high 90 minutes. Always gives me 91 because the first minute is usually already there. Then I'm going to take that minute off, and now I have 90 minutes, and now I'm going to hit start. And it will do the work for me. I don't even have to worry about it. What I do need to do is I need to stay in the kitchen, living room area where I can hear the canner, because at a certain point it's going to tell me that it beeps and lets me know one thing, like one beep. I think it's when it's up to pressure, and then it beeps once it's up to pressure, then your timer starts for 10 minutes. Then I hear another beep. Then I'm listening for 3 beeps in a row. 1, 2, 3, which means I have to come and adjust this nozzle up here from exhaust to airtight. Once I do that, we're good to go. I can walk away from it. Now, I don't walk away from my canner. I might go down the hall, check on grandma, go outside, sit with my husband for 10 minutes, but I'm always ever mindful that I have a canner on my counter. And I practice, you know, safe canning. I want you to practice safe canning. All right, that's it. Now, let's look at the soup, okay? Okay, this is the jar that I opened up and thickened this morning. I put it on the stove, and I ordered 1/4 cup of mesa flour, which I got at the food bank. And then I mixed about the same amount of warm water to that and made a slurry. Then I threw the slurry in a pot of my soup on the stove and stirred it up, and it thickened up just beautifully. So I'm going to taste this for you guys. Oh, unless I don't have a clean spoon, we'll pull one out of the dishwasher. Okay, and I might want more than 1 bite, so we're just going to pour a little bit in this fancy little thing right here. And you can see how, I don't know if you can see or not, but you can see how thick that is. Isn't that lovely? That is so yummy. Now, when you prepare this, you'll throw it in a bowl. You can put jalapenos, candy cowboy can on the top. You can put sour cream, you can put cheese, you can put Fritos, whatever you want. It's going to be so good. I have a little bag of single serving size Fritos in the house, so I might serve it that way. Let's go ahead and taste it. It looks like this, you guys. You ready? That is really good. That is so good. Now, it is not spicy. My grandmother, who struggles with spice a little bit, she will be able to eat this perfectly fine. My husband and I, in our individual bowls, will throw a pinch of red pepper flakes on the top. It is really good. This soup is a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So I do not have this physical cookbook. This is a cookbook that I checked out virtually from my library. I'm in Snohomish County, and I can keep it for 21 days. I can renew it if nobody else wants it, and it's perfect for me. So if you don't have this book and you don't want to purchase this book, go to your library, see if they have it. See if they've got a virtual lending program, and if so, sign up. It's super easy. Usually you have to put a library app of some sort, whatever your library uses. Mine is called Libby, and it works perfect. I read hundreds of books a year, and I do it on that app. Most of them I do audio because I'm busy, and I have to be doing other things while I'm listening to a book. Also, because I don't sleep well, I listen to a book at night and it helps me go to sleep. Enough of that. I will bring you back for a shot of the jars when they are all done. And then if you guys make this recipe, I definitely want to know. Okay? I hope that you enjoyed this. I had fun. I hope you did too. We got some cleaning done, and I always say we. I'm well aware that it is just me. But I really don't think that I would be doing a lot of this without some people to kind of cheer me on. And that's what you guys do when you watch my videos, when you leave me nice little notes. You just, make life a little bit easier. So I will see you guys later. Ta-ta.